need to get a camera that actually shows me when it's on. Sorry, might have gotten a bit of my shirt there. Anyway, hey everybody, I'm Abigail Schweig from abigailschweig.com. Imaginate, writer, actress, singer, dancer, everything. So anyway, something that I really wanted to do today was talk about one of my favorite things, an acting technique. Yay! So one of my favorite acting techniques is Ivana Chubbuck. I don't know what it's called. It's just Ivana Chubbuck's 12 steps. Her 12 steps. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about these 12 steps. Give you kind of the overall gist of it. Obviously there are 12. And these are really helpful if you want to get into character, if you are interested in acting at all. This is a great first step for a beginner. It's also really great for seasoned actors, people who've been doing it for a while. Coming to mind, actors such as Charlize Theron, I think swears by this method. Other people too. I'm not quite sure how many. It's very well known though, and it works wonders. And I've used it before, and it really helped me to deepen my abilities and to broaden the stories that I could create and the personas that I could share. So anyway, it's an awesome technique. All right, so without further ado, here we go. There are 12 steps. So number 1 is just the overall objective. Now the overall objective is what your character wants. It's the underlying desire that motivates the character throughout the whole entire production. So whether you're in film or you're in theater or whatever you do, your character that you're playing needs to have something they want, or else it's just kind of boring. So you need to have the overall objective. So for instance, well actually I'm going to go into examples in another video, so I'm just going to kind of talk about the 12 steps here. So overall objective. Alright, number 2 is scene objective. This is also very important because every scene has a life of its own. And if you don't know what you're doing in that scene, it's going to fall flat. Even if you're working with a great other actor or actress, you know, they can't carry it for you. I mean, they can, but they're going to look amazing and you're going to look like a dope. So the scene objective is, what does your character want in that scene? So basically, like, okay, figure out the overall objective and then break down different smaller objectives that lead up to the overall objective, and you've got your scene objective. Alright, so number 3 are obstacles. Alright, every character has to have obstacles to overcome. Every book, every incredible movie has huge obstacles. You know, like Frodo taking the ring to Mordor. I'm not able to think of anything else at the moment. Oh, Hunger Games, Katniss has to stay alive, you know, and she has all these obstacles. There are people trying to kill her, and hornets, and or whatever they're called, like Jack. Yeah, crazy hornets and other things. So you have like those big obstacles. So find out the obstacles, really discern them, and then say, okay, how am I going to react to those obstacles? Alright, then number 4, which I really like, this might be my favorite one, substitution. So when you're in a scene with a person who's playing a character that you have a relationship with, whether it's, you know, they're playing your mother, your father, you know, your sibling, your spouse, your love interest, your best friend, your worst enemy, you need to have that rapport, you know, you need to have that history with them. So the substitution comes in so handy. So basically the substitution is just your past. Like, you have memories and I have memories. And when we think of certain memories, they evoke certain emotions in us. For instance, I remember my first love and the bubbly feeling it gave me and how I felt like I could fly. And it still brings a smile to my face because I remember all those good feelings and the sweetness of it. So that's a substitution that I could put into a scene if I'm playing someone who's in love. And then there are other substitutions that you can do, such as, anger, deep emotions, anger towards someone that you trusted who betrayed you. You can use that in a scene where you're being betrayed or you have to be angry at someone. So that's very helpful, especially when you don't know your scene partner very well, or you're uncomfortable with what you're supposed to do in the story. So if you're a person who's very gentle with people, but you're having to play an abusive spouse or an abusive parent, that's hard to do. So you're going to have a substitution and be like, okay, there was this one person who did something horrible and I hate that person. So you substitute that into your aggression, and so you are being aggressive towards that bad person instead of at the innocent person that's playing your scene partner. So those substitutions are very helpful to tap into deep reserves of emotion and desire and fear and anger, all things like that. So number 5 is inner objects. Now, inner objects are basically objects that you can think about that can help you in the scene. So perhaps you're on stage and you need, let's see, inner objects. I'm blanking just a little bit. It's like a tool that you're not able to use because you're under budget or you're over budget and you can't afford certain props or something. The inner object is like, okay, I am going to imagine that there's a bowl of cherries right here because that evokes certain emotional responses within me that makes me feel hungry in this scene, and I'm supposed to feel hungry, something like that. So it's kind of like a substitution, but it's more like, oh, this is an object that I'm imagining and that it's in my scene with me. So I might not have explained that very well. Sorry. Inner objects, I find that one a little difficult to do myself. So that's probably why I didn't explain it well. Apologies. All right, number 6 would be beats and actions. So beats and actions, a beat is just kind of like a pause. Like when you're reading a book and there's like a comma or there's italics or something, it's kind of like, okay, pause and take a break and like look at that for a minute and really let it sink in. So beats are emphasis, an emphasis you place on something. So if someone asks you a question and it says beat, it's like you take a moment and really use that moment as you're acting. You're not just acting when you're saying something, you're acting every second that the audience can see you. So taking that beat, really using your time, making it work for you, that's really good when you can do that. So that's a beat. Actions are like, okay, what am I doing in this scene? So maybe the character you're playing is a drug addict, so maybe they're fiddling with their keys, or they're like I need my fix, or something. Or maybe they're really nervous, so they're playing with jewelry, or they're touching their ear or something like that. So yeah, those are beats and actions. Basically just to tailor the character you're playing. So yeah, if your person is nervous, they'd be fiddling with something. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then number 7 is moment before. So this is exactly what it sounds like. It is the moment before you walk on stage, the moment before that little clicker snaps when you're on film or camera or whatever. It's what state of mind is your character in right before the audience is supposed to see them. So the moment before is going to be radically different if your character just is in the throes of a panic attack or just had a panic attack versus a character who just woke up from a really relaxing nap. So the way you enter the scene, that is your moment before. And then number 8 is place and fourth wall. Place is just, okay, what setting am I in? Am I in the jungle? and in that case, you'd probably, you know, be worried about mosquitoes and snakes and malaria. And then the fourth wall is just, okay, don't break the fourth wall. You know, you have your side, your back, and your front. You know, the fourth wall is where the audience sees you, and that's where they kind of tap into your character, and they really like live vicariously through you. So you have to keep the fourth wall very steady and stable, and even if you look at them, you have to not be looking at them. Like, look at their forehead if you're looking. And I'm thinking of this through theater because most of my experience has been through theater, and I haven't really enjoyed the experience I've done with film. So, all right, number 9 is doings. So doings is just what you're doing in the scene. It's very similar to the beats and actions. So doings is like, okay, what is my character doing in this scene? Is she packing? Is he smoking a cigarette? You know, although I hope your character wouldn't be doing that. Or is she cooking something? Is she going for a run? Is he flipping through the channels on the TV? You know, like what is the character doing that makes up the scene? So basically that's pretty simple. And then number 10 is the inner monologue, and I like this one very much. So it really helps you to get into character. So when your character is, I don't know, closing the shades or something, what are they thinking? They're like, oh, you know, I should have closed the shades earlier because it's so dark out and the light's been on. I wonder if someone's, you know, seeing me while I was doing my aerobics video. That would be so embarrassing. I have to close the shades. You know, so that's like the inner monologue of the character. So whatever you're doing in the scene, your character has an inner life. Even if it doesn't appear to be that way, your character always has an inner life, and they always have thoughts and feelings and needs and frustrations and desires and fears and all those things. So really, like breathing an inner life into your character just shows such a dynamic presence when you are in front of the audience or in front of the camera. So then number 11 is previous circumstances. So previous circumstances just takes into account what are my character's experiences with the other characters in this scene or with previous situations. You know, maybe your character, oh gosh, I'm coming up with such horrible examples, like an alcoholic. Okay, so what if your character is an alcoholic? Well, previous circumstances, you know, they've been to bars, they've done a lot of drinking, probably woke up and had horrible hangovers, and, you know, maybe even woke up in a ditch somewhere. Like, that's kind of a frightening, terrifying, tragic thing. So if you're playing that kind of a character, then, I mean, your previous circumstances are going to be very heavy. But if you're playing a very young, you know, good-tempered, kind of innocent kid who's just like, his dream is to play basketball or something, his previous circumstances might be pretty rosy in comparison. Or not, who knows. But yeah, previous circumstances, definitely taking into account the traits of your character and their history and their childhood and their biography and, you know, their home life, all those kinds of things. So that's really previous circumstances. And then number 12 is let it go, let it go. I'm not going to sing that song because it's very oversung, but it's a good one. Anyway, so basically what the number 12, let it go, means is that, okay, you've put in the work. You've done so much. You've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now that you've really worked hard, you can relax and trust that it is going to work out. Now, that one has always been the most difficult one for me because I like to tweak and I like to make it better and I like to be a perfectionist. I don't like being a perfectionist, but I am. So I have a little bit of a trouble letting go with that, but I'm working on it. So yes, let it go is very good. It's very, very important because that's how you make it flow. So if you're with people that you're comfortable with, it's going to be a lot easier to let go and let the character shine and do things that you think the character would do, even if it might embarrass you or scare you. So yes, letting go is good when it's in a safe environment, safe context. All right, so those, wow, I think I talked for like 20 minutes. It feels like 20 minutes. So that was the 12 steps of Ivana Chubbuck's 12 steps. Power of the Actor. I think that's the book where it's from. It's a fantastic book. Please, please go find it and buy it and read it and like breathe it in and absorb it. It will transform your acting life if you haven't already looked at it. It's done me a world of good. And yeah. So hope you enjoyed that and hope it was helpful. I just love this kind of stuff, so I could talk about it all day, but that would be boring. So you take care, and I'll see you next week.